Okay, good morning. Hi. You're always the first one to be in here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this live stream today. Thank you, JC. And like I noticed, like immediately, I have several people coming in, and thanks so much for coming. Um, okay, how's everyone today? Yeah, how's everyone today? I saw someone's username is called CEO US joined. What do you mean by CEO of US? I only know one CEO of the US joined today. Well, actually, I only know one person that can be called CEO of US. But lots of people here in China do not like him, unfortunately. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Hi, Lucifer from Texas. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, I I- I- oh, okay, Isaiah. I love the fact you put a Chinese translation of your English name beside your name, so that like I has a little bit of problem of pronouncing it, but after seeing the Chinese translation, I know how to pronounce it. Yeah, melting it. It's very hot today, but very well indeed. Good. This is not a rebroadcast, my friend. Diane, is it your first time come in here? Yeah, is it your first time come in here? Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to people who are from different places in this world. So just so you know, this is a very international live streaming room and I just started. So I usually will start from like 7:30, which is approximately now, and till 2 hours later. No, I follow you. Ooh, that's great. Good to see you, Diane. Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks for asking, B47C. Yeah. So as usual, my friends, so this live stream is about China. Okay. I am 100% Chinese. So with the ability to speak quite good English. So I'm also pretty knowledgeable when it comes to many things. So that's why like I would have this live stream every morning from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time, which is probably your afternoon time or evening time. So no matter what time zone you're in and which country you're very welcome to join this live stream. And as usual, if you have any questions about China, like on this paper fan, if you have any question about China or you have any question about myself, please feel free to send the question in a comment. Okay, please feel free to send a comment, send a question in the comment. Okay, yeah, just see the paper fan. If you have any question about China, just send it in to my comment, and we usually would start from there. Okay, we usually would start from there by seeing any questions you guys have and I answer any of the questions, and we can start from there. Okay, I already see there's a question about, tell me about the Qing dynasty. Yeah, sure, I can tell you. Ooh, a second. Ah, yeah, sure, I can definitely tell you a bit about Qing dynasty. Qing dynasty is one of the most interesting dynasty in the world. Are you from Shanghai? Yes, my friend, I am from Shanghai. How do you know I'm from Shanghai? Are you in the live stream room for a lot of time? So that's why you know I'm from Shanghai. Yeah, or like do Chinese people just have a specific look that makes you feel like I look like a Chinese? Yeah, to be honest, Shanghai is a migrant city, so that's why majority of the people here in Shanghai, if you look at our two generations above us, like for example, my grandma's generation, or even the generation above them, mostly they are not from Shanghai. Mostly they're not from Shanghai. Mostly there are people just from other provinces and they moved to Shanghai and then just live in Shanghai and have their offsprings living in Shanghai. And then generally we become Shanghainese. It's pretty rare to find like local Shanghainese. And somehow, like it is said that the very local Shanghainese, the kind of dialect of Shanghainese they speak, is quite different from nowadays the very standard kind of Shanghainese. It's more like British accent and American accent. Like even though both are considered English, and you could have no problems understand each other, somehow like British is more like the original one, and American is after you have so many different ethnicities come into this country and you mixed up so many accents and somehow it becomes American accent. So somehow like here in Shanghai the standard accent is like the kind of accent I speak right now. So unless you are able to find some extremely local Shanghainese, or like people who have left Shanghai for a long time. Otherwise, it's pretty hard for you to hear those like kind of old kind of Shanghainese dialects. It's usually very interesting that if you see some of those kind of famous actors actress who left Shanghai a long time ago, for example, to live in the US, and they can and also live in Hong Kong or some other countries, and start to have their children there, and you listen to their children's accent of speaking Shanghainese. For example, there's a very famous, quite famous dude called Jimmy O Yang. Jimmy O Yang, right, my friend? Do you guys know him? Like he's a quite famous like talk show host, and somehow like he also appeared in many of American TV dramas, and like he I think he's quite famous, right? So he I really discovered that he's also Shanghainese. So he started an account in Red Note as well. Yeah, Jimmy. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So he started an account in Red Note as well, and immediately got so many followers in here. And then the kind of videos he would post is like he himself speaking Shanghainese, and I realized that, oh, okay, so he's actually a descendant of Shanghainese. And then even though I can understand he's Shanghainese, but I can tell that the kind of Shanghainese accent he talks about is very different from, it's not very different, it's quite different from the kind of accent that I have. Because like he actually was only born in Shanghai, remember? Born in Shanghai and born in Hong Kong. I don't really remember, but somehow like he later on grew up in the US. So that's why like he learned his accent from his parents, who was like, left Shanghai a long time ago, so that the kind of accent they had is like very interestingly different. Yeah. Also, like for example, when I told you guys like I work in Hong Kong, right? So somehow when I was in Hong Kong, and from time to time, there are actually so many people in Hong Kong that are from Shanghai. Okay, so even though they were born in Hong Kong, but like for example, their parents previously were in Shanghai. So back then, I remember it's like because of the domestic war. So I have told you, shared with you multiple times about like why like China has some like problems with there's an island, right? I'm not going to mention about the name, otherwise this is going to be very political and my traffic on Red Note will be limited, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? And don't type that in the comment, okay? Don't type that in the comment, Red Note, okay? TikTok, you guys feel free, okay? You guys feel free, okay? So like you guys know there's an island, right? There's lots of conflicts around that island, and somehow the reason why there's some conflicts around this island is just because we had this domestic war between two parties, right? So during that domestic war, and also before that, we also had so during that we also had like Japanese people invading China, right? So during that period of time that China was so turbulent, right? There were so many things going on, and like there are lots of people then, even though they before they were Shanghainese, they lived in Shanghai. However, they migrated to Hong Kong, to some other places, and to some other countries. So somehow, even now today, you would also notice that it is like somehow the kind of root, the tradition in Shanghainese people, like we really like to go out and explore the world. I remember no matter which country I've been to, no matter which country I've been to before, I was always able to see like people from Shanghai and hear like Shanghainese accent. That is just very interesting. Thank you, Nikki, for sharing this live stream. Yeah, true. Jennifer, you also noticed that, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're welcoming Nikki for me. Yeah, Nikki, welcome so much. Welcome you so much. Yeah, 好早啊，不早啦，该起床啦，太阳晒屁股啦。不过今天在下雨。Yeah. So, we can see this island from Xiamen. Oh, okay. I think I know this island, but we can't say on TikTok. You can say. I mean, on TikTok it's pretty okay, but on Red Note it's not so okay. So that's why on Red Note, guys, even though you guys know what I'm talking about, but just don't say it. Okay. Yeah, you're very political. No, I'm not. I'm not very political. It's just like, but to be honest, like I do like to discuss topics around that, but somehow that is not the kind of topic that is liked on all social media platforms. So that's why I have to talk about it in a very subtle way. Yeah. So, and L'Oreal, what are you talking about? I know exactly what you're referring to. Yeah. So I worked in Shanghai before. Oh, okay. Oh, that's why you say like you and oh, okay. Good. How do you like the city of Shanghai? How do you like my hometown? Yeah, to be honest, I really like Shanghai. I think Shanghai is super convenient. And well, and also because my benchmark is Hong Kong, right? My benchmark is not like other tier cities in China. Because people from, like, for example, second tier, third tier city told me that it's actually more comfortable to live there than Shanghai because everything is relatively cheaper and also equally convenient and also less competitive. So like it's very, very comfortable to live in those kind of cities compared to Shanghai. So since I have never ever lived in any cities like that, even though I have visited, for example, visited my husband's hometown like Changchun, right? So I have only lived in Shanghai and also lived in Hong Kong for most of the time. And apart from the two cities, I've also lived in Texas and Austin for a little bit of while during my university years, during my exchange program. And afterwards, I also lived in London for 1 year. Well, for one, a little bit more than 1 year. Wait, let me see. So for my master degree, okay, back then. And yeah, so that's basically the kind of cities I've been to. So, like most of the cities that I lived in, are relatively speaking like frontier cities. So that's why like the comparison I made are always among those frontier cities, the first tier cities. So among all the cities I've lived in, to be honest, I really like Shanghai. I think Shanghai is considered to be the most comfortable ones. Yeah. I'm in Canada now though. Okay. Which city are you in Canada? Like, how do you feel about Canada? Like it's so different. The kind of vibes in Canada is quite different from the kind of vibes in Shanghai. So I have two cousins right now living in Canada, Toronto. Okay. So I have like two cousins living in Vancouver or Toronto. I always mix these two cities up. Yeah. So like when these two cities, like when so when my cousins, whenever they returned back to Shanghai, they somehow just say that I'm not so sure if you feel the very same, Nikki. So my cousin told me that people in Canada are very, very simple. And also somehow like people just live a very relaxing life there in Canada. So like every time he went back to Shanghai, she went back to Shanghai, she just had this kind of feeling that she's back in the city, something like that. Yeah. So for example, like majority of the Canadian people just wear, for example, summertime t-shirt, wintertime Canada Goose, like nothing so fashionable. And she said that whenever she returned back to Shanghai, she started to see all those people walking on the streets, like wearing all sorts of different clothes, like so fashionable. And she feel like, oh my God, yeah, I'm back in city, back in town, something like that. Like that's what she feels. And also the kind of life here in Shanghai is more versatile. Like you have many things you can enjoy, right? If you really like exhibition, there are plenty of exhibitions for you to go to. If you really like clubbing, karaoke, there are plenty of things, entertainment facilities, entertainment places like that. And also if like you are really into eating, there are all sorts of different restaurants out there here. So did your parents speak English with you? No, my parents speak zero English, zero English. They did not know anything English. So I remember somehow there was during back then. I remember during a time during APAC, there was a period of time that like the entire city was just advocating and just like telling people, you know what, APAC is about to be held in our city. Everyone needs to learn English. I still remember when I was little, there were on TV, there were some like small cartoon shows that teach everyone how to speak English, right? Oh, say for example, you meet a foreigner, like what's the English you need to talk about? So somehow, hi, easygoing cat, hello, hi, and happy day to you too. And somehow like everyone in Shanghai was told that you must learn English. So also somehow like my dad's company also was like advocating that, like said everyone needs to learn English. So back then my dad still smoked. So what he did is like on this, so say for example this is consider this as a cigarette, so he would put some like a vocabulary word list and inside his like cigarette cart, and then somehow like whenever he starts to smoke he would take out this little card and start to recite some of the words. And he doesn't have any like English teacher right back then, like nobody has like English teacher, basically just learning that from the television. So like he was learning thank you very much. And somehow thank you very much sounds a little bit like in Shanghainese, like something like that, which if you translate that directly into English, then that would mean throw your triangle box everywhere, something like that. So he basically is how he's able to learn English. Like thank you very much is like something like that. It's very funny. Yeah. And back then it was also like my very also like back then was like the similar kind of age I started to understand, know a little bit of English, and I even taught my dad a little bit of English. I remember it was like very interesting. So yeah, so that's like how many Chinese people remember all those words, you know, in English. So there are even like those books like teaching people to remember the reciting every words, like by just breaking them down into the pronunciation that is very similar to the Chinese words, and just by memorizing all those like Chinese meaning of those Chinese words and combining together, that's how you're able to memorize an English word. So there's like official way of learning, like remembering, memorizing all the English words like that, you know. I can't really think about an example, but if you guys know any of those examples, can definitely tell me in the comments so that I can share. Yeah, so I also remember back then when I was learning English when I was in my primary school. Like I also did something like that. I don't really remember, but I also did something like that. Just remembering the pronunciation means what, like in a very funny way, and then somehow just remember how to say it. And also, oh, also there's like one very interesting thing. Hello, hi Romeo, good to see you. Hi everyone, good to see like so many familiar faces. And also one another very interesting thing is that you would notice that many of the Chinese people would have an English name。三颗药喂你妈吃哦，对对，这是另外一个，就是我们当时我爸学的是上海话版本，就是什么塞过苦，怎么样，斗来斗去还是什么的。对对，三颗药喂你妈吃，这个也是一个很好的，Yeah. So there's another Chinese translation of those this very same sentence, which is "Thank you very much" by our lovely friend called 爱跳舞的丽贝卡，and that is the Mandarin version. Okay, I just shared the Shanghainese version, but here is a Mandarin version, which is 三颗药喂你妈吃. Like guys, listen carefully. Like 三颗药喂你妈吃. Is it very similar to thank you very much? 三颗药喂你妈吃. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 三颗药喂你妈吃. Like sounds very similar, right? Yeah, it does sound very similar. Actually, this is the very first version I heard about. Yeah, but it's like very similar. Let's do it again. Thank you very much. 三颗药喂你妈吃. It's very similar, right? So the meaning of 三颗药喂你妈吃 means like 3 pills to feed to your mom to eat, something like that. Yeah, so that's like the Chinese pronunciation translation of thank you very much, right? So if you translate the Chinese pronunciation translation into English, that means feed your mom with 3 pills, you know. Like pretty funny. Yeah, if you guys think of any other very interesting examples, can definitely share it in the comment. Yeah. What would you do if when you okay? So he said yes would go. What you're talking about 的天空之城没看懂. What would you do if when you okay? So he said yes would go. Okay, let me see. Okay, what's the Chinese translation? 你会怎么做如果当你 OK，所以他说是会走吗？Still don't quite understand it. So 天空之城, could you actually be a little bit more logical? I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, QPI. It sounds like very familiar, right? Hello, I would love to learn Mandarin. I'm still learning Spanish. Oh, you're so aggressive, my friend. Adventure. That's why that's why your name is called Adventure with Carrios. You're learning Spanish at the same time. You also want to learn Mandarin. That is so aggressive. 你乱说，哈哈，看出来了，看了老半天，看了3遍都没看懂你在讲什么，肯定是在乱说。Yeah, so like it's so interesting. Well, to be honest, like Chinese people, oh yeah, I was saying that you would notice like lots of the Chinese people would have an English name. So I remember like when I went to London to study my master degree, and there was a neighbor. I still remember her name. She's called Anne, and she's an American. And she said, "Hey, you know what? It's so good. Your name is like very easy to pronounce for an English speaker. And I say, no, it's not because my name is very easy to pronounce. It's simply because I gave myself an English name, you know? And it's like the reason why, like, you notice, like, so many Chinese people have an English name is just because when we first started learning English, our teacher would give us English name. Okay. Our teacher would give us like English name. So I remember there's a guy was given an English name called Thomas, even though his Chinese name is called Zhou Jing or something. I don't really remember. It was in my primary school, like many, many years ago. So like he was given this name called Thomas, and Thomas somehow like in Shanghainese sounds very similar of how to say 脱袜子. How to say 脱袜子? Like taking off your sockers, right? Taking off your sockers. So that's why, like later on, everyone just call him taking off your soccer, like Thomas, Thomas, like very Thomas is very similar to Thomas, right? So, like when he was given this English name of Thomas, like everyone just called him, hey, Thomas, Thomas, which means taking off your socks, taking off your socks, right? Oh yeah, taking off your socks. So like it was pretty funny. Yeah, so I was given like lots of English name myself when I was little. When I first started English, I remember like very first English name I was given was like Angel or Angela. You will notice like so many Chinese girls are called Angela. There are so many Angela out there. And to be honest, like I didn't notice like many foreigners out there whose name is Angela. Somehow, like in China, you will notice like so many girls, Chinese girls are called Angela. Yeah. Do you guys notice that? Do you guys notice that? Yeah, it goes both way. My Chinese family can't say Mark. What do you mean by they can't say Mark? Yeah, do you guys notice that there are actually so many girls in China that's name is called Angela? 大家中国的宝宝有没有发现身边有很多的人都英文都叫 Angela？ Like I personally know like at least a dozen of Angela, like a dozen of people whose name is called Angela. So Angela is a very uh like commonly seen name. And also somehow say same with Michelle. And also what are other very commonly seen names, my friend? Yeah. Like tell me like Chinese friends, if there are Chinese friends or like foreign friends, what is the most commonly seen kind of English name in your life? Okay, let's just share it. Let's see if there's any good English name. Okay, yeah. So guys, just share me what's the kind of the most commonly heard English name you have seen in your life. Let's first of all talk about the girl's name. Yeah, so for example, I was saying that I see like so many people whose English name is called Angela, and also so many people's English name is called Michelle, right? And also Vivian is also a pretty commonly seen name. Sue, really? Really? I've met many Chinese girls with the English name Grace. Oh yeah, Grace is a very commonly seen name. Yeah, Harmony not so commonly seen, but I mean, I could understand why they give their name themselves the name of Harmony, and it's so interesting, like because like we share lots of time, right? Like the Chinese name has usually has a meaning. For example, I know like many of the foreigners that your parents would give you guys like names simply because you want to name you after their dad or after someone. So they give you a name which is the very same name as their dad or grandpa or someone they like, right? Yeah, 张韶涵就叫 对不对？是的。But like in China, like all the Chinese people, our name does have a meaning. So that's why like you would notice that like many Chinese people, when they start to give themselves an English name, they start to find words with meaning and they start to give themselves an English name. So Harmony is a perfect example of a Chinese person giving themselves an English name that has a meaning, right? So Harmony is a pretty interesting name, right? And also I remember there's a guy that I dated once. Oh, a very funny story. I dated him when I was like pretty little and just once, right? And I remember his name is called Blue Sky. Like it's really easy to remember. And I was like, oh my god, like why do you call yourself Blue Sky? Like your name is called Blue Sky. Like I mean it's okay to just call yourself Sky, right? Sky is okay, but when you call yourself like, hey, my name is Blue Sky, like that was his official English name. Like somehow that sounds like so very weird. And many years later, I met this guy again in a conference. I was like, oh hey, hi, good to see you. You look so familiar. So that guy immediately remembered who I am. 啊，好的，提醒喝水。不过今天这个水要稍微凉一会儿，今天喝的是那个 herbal tea，所以要稍微凉一会儿。嗯哼。哎呀，月牙儿，这个 你看，就是时不时会有一些中国的朋友进来说什么讲什么鸟语显摆、崇洋媚外哈，就是这样的。月牙儿同学，我们可以稍微把这个打开一下哈，因为现在在小红书里边有非常多的外国友人来到这里是希望了解中国的，所以其实我们能够用很好的英文来去跟他们宣扬中国的文化，本质上是一件非常好的事情。如果你真的要质疑这一件事情的话，其实你应该去问我们国家为什么要让我们学英文，对吧？你小时候是不是有上小学的时候有学英文？那如果说你没有这样的资源和机会去学英文，有这样的资源和机会去跟外国友人去沟通的话，那其实我的直播间是一个非常好的一个平台，这儿有非常多的外国友人。然后呢，你也可以在听我讲的过程当中学习英文，那而且去了解外国人真正的想法，世界是怎么样的。这并不是一种崇洋媚外，本质上这是一种对于各种文化的一个好奇心，一种探索，是开拓自己的见识的一个非常好的一个机会，好吗？我已经非常礼貌，今天心情不错哈，非常礼貌的跟你讲了，好吗？OK，嗯，大家都比我更愤怒一点哈。OK，yeah, there was someone coming to the live stream and was complaining about like why are you speaking English, right? Or why are you just talking to the foreigners like you are like so not patriotic, something like that. So I was explaining in Chinese that the reason why we are doing that is because we have so many foreigners in this social media platform, and it is a perfect opportunity to do to do cross culture communication so that we can open our eyes a bit more to understand what are the other people think about this world. So you probably can understand like you're better, you'll like better, like understand this world a lot better, right? That is definitely considered to be a good thing. OK，所以这个总有 haters，我们支持你，谢谢你们，好吧？所以中国的宝宝们进来的话呢，大家也不要觉得很奇怪。其实现在有很多的这个有非常多的主播，其实都已经开始用英文去进行直播了。那事实上有很多的人，他虽然英文其实讲的并没有特别好，但是他也很勇敢的去打开直播间，用英文去跟外国人去交流。我觉得这是一件非常好的一件事情。有些人说他开直播用英文做直播最主要的目的就是想要去练习自己的英文，也有人说就是我希望和全世界的人去交朋友。Right? I was saying that nowadays there are so many English hosts right now in here starting a live stream to talk to people about the China, about the world, everything's like in English, not because they speak very good English. To be honest, many of those hosts don't speak very good English. However, they're still very brave to start a live stream, just force themselves to speak English to people around the world, right? So some people consider that to be a good way to practice their English, and some other people consider that as a way to make friends with people from all over the world, right? So I personally have made lots of new friends in here in the live stream. Like for example, oh yeah, I noticed like you have been tapping likes for me for a long time, and also I have made friends with Louis the Cat and also many Chinese friends, right? Like Christy Little C and Rebecca, right? And also No Talk, etc. Like so many people. And also on TikTok platform, I also made a lot of friends with you guys as well, right? So I feel like this is definitely a great opportunity for us to make friends. And since I started this live stream, I have told multiple times I understand, oh, okay, what's going on out there, right? 我们要是从更加现实一点的角度来去讲，就是你比如说在这个点名了哈，点名了哈。我说就是来了以后做了这个直播以后，确实交了很多新的朋友嘛，对吧？这是非常好的一件事情。就我们从比较功利的角度来去讲，就是开了这个直播间，你确实有一个非常面对面、直接跟外国友人去交流的一个机会啊。特别像名誉哈，就是大家进来以后会说我长得像各种各样的明星，也挺有意思的。就是我觉得这个是非常好的一个，就是很功利的角度来讲，你比如说我们以前对于美国这个国家的了解，都只是通过所有的这个新闻媒体才能了解的。但是现在你真的是可以跟很多美国人直接交流，对吧？I was saying that, for example, for Chinese people, before the how we were able to know a bit more about USA, about West, about the rest of the world is only through media, like through news, through medias. To be honest, like much of the news media, they can be quite biased, right? So that's why like now it provides a perfect opportunity to just talk to those foreigners directly here. and which helps me understand so much about the foreign world, right? And also, like for me, so many foreign friends, when you guys come into this live stream and start to listen to me share about China, you also notice there are so many misunderstandings from your side, right? 就比如说，像我们之前我开始做直播了以后，我突然发现说，哦，其实有很多的这个美国那边都是对我们有很多虚假的宣传，然后呢，还有就是我会发现说，哦，其实那边的生活现在真实是什么样的一个情况，哦，那边的人的人均工资是怎样的，物价是怎样的。那这些很重要的信息，我们说的功利一点，其实也很好的能够帮助你去做一些决策，right? I was saying that to be also pretty materialistic. That if you get to know a bit more about the other country through the live stream, it's also good for you to make some judgment about what's going on in this world, which may later on helps you with better investment decisions and also business decisions, right? Yeah. 对，然后我也是在很努力的在宣传中国的文化，去打破很多的偏见。其实中国对于外国有很多的偏见，但是外国对于中国也有非常多的偏见，right? You guys, for those of you who has been in this live stream for long, you guys know there are so many misunderstandings between different countries, right? So, for example, I have said multiple times when I first started this live stream that I always have a chance to live in the USA, but I don't. Okay, what happened? Like, what was the chance, and like, why did you didn't go? Yeah, so like I was saying that, for example, when I first started the live stream, there were so many people flooded to this live stream, asking me like questions like, "Hey, can you tell me a bit more about social scores? Hey, like, do you guys don't really like daughters, or whenever you have a daughter, you're just gonna send that away?" Or questions like, "Oh, you know what? Can you tell me a bit more about like also what's the other things, like there are so many like misunderstandings, like I was able to clear that. And also there are so many people out there who are like genuinely interested in the Chinese culture, Chinese cuisine, and they just wanted to visit China so much, but they don't know anyone here in China, right? So this is a perfect place for them to ask questions, and it's a perfect place for our Chinese people to tell them how great our country is, right? Yeah, I can get the green card if I want, actually. Yeah, but you still like China so much, right? Yeah. 特别喜欢听主播用英语巴拉巴拉不停，对啊，所以我就说嘛，这其实本质上是一个非常好的一个沟通桥梁，而且其实就像当中有一位朋友讲的，我看一下是谁讲的哈，对啊，默默讲的，这是一个和平的桥梁，对吧？我们大家用英文去进行了所有的沟通，我们把当中的一些当中的误解去清除了以后，哎，大家会说哦，其实原来中国是一个非常好的一个国家哦，然后我们也会了解说哦，原来每个其他地方也有他们非常独特的文化哦，其实来到直播间里边的其他外国友人，每一个都是非常非常友好的，然后你也会对他们的国家和文化有一个全新的了解，right? I was saying that, like just like Momo said, this is a bridge of peace, a peace bridge, right? So by sharing so much about here in China, like many people noticed and realized that China is a wonderful country. And also when I started to talk like other foreigners, and other foreigners start to share about their culture and their countries, what's going on, we also noticed that, oh, there's so many amazing people out there in other countries, right? And like we also feel like, yeah, we should explore other countries, make friends with our foreign friends, right? So that's basically what's going on right now in this live stream. 对啊，我们中国人有天下大同的梦想，但是 before that，英文还是可以学的，沟通才能消除误解和分歧。这说的非常好，就是我们说实话哈，就是我记得一开始的时候有人问这个。There was someone asking me at the very beginning when I first started this live stream to talk a bit about Qing Dynasty, right? So, like every Chinese person know, if you sort of just know a little bit of like Chinese history, you would notice that the reason, one of the key reason why Qing Dynasty was like became so corrupted, and also back then why Qing Dynasty was later on invaded by some other countries and was no longer able to rule this country, and this country became so poor and so turbulent and so lagged behind, was because from certain dynasty, Qing started to do one thing, which is lock up its gate to the outside world. Every Chinese person has heard about this word called 闭关锁国，对吧？我们去说，所有的人，我们在学中国人在学中国历史的时候，尤其在学清朝历史的时候，我们就说 清朝之所以会这么落后的一个非常重要的原因，就是从某一个时刻开始，它开始闭关锁国了。那一旦闭关锁国了以后，你就会发现说，其实很难再和外界世界打通。What date is of the dynasty? Well, running out of battery. Okay, so actually, can anyone help me research it? 中国的宝宝有谁帮忙查一下清朝整个清朝是从几几年到几几年吗？Yeah, so Jennifer asked this question, which is what's the time of this dynasty? So my phone is running out of battery. So for any Chinese friends here in the live stream room, could you please help me to search what's the time for this dynasty of Qing dynasty? Yeah. Which city should I go to China first? Depend on what you're looking for. So every time people ask me this question, I would say like depend on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for food, there are places for you go. If you're looking for natural scenery, there are places for you go. If you're looking for a place that speaks best English, there's another place for you to go. Okay. Jennifer, just so you see, it's 1644 till 1911. Okay, till 1911. That is the period of Qing Dynasty. Okay. 好，1644年到1911年。好，谢谢大家，谢谢宝宝们帮助我去查这个答案哈。我因为手机没电了，所以没有办法查。不过谢谢大家。Yeah, so that's a period. Yeah, where are you from, Jennifer? Where are you from? I want to know like where you from, and also we can also see what's your dynasty? What's the dynasty in your country during that period of time? Okay, it would be very interesting to see this world, the history, like the very same time. Okay, it's history in here, like which dynasty, and in your country, what's the dynasty, and what's the emperor or the king there. Okay, Pennsylvania, USA. Okay, so who's the president during this? Well, actually, it's a pretty long. It's like over 2,000 years. Yeah. So, but let's say like, who's your president in 1911? Who's the president, U.S. president in 1911 when Qing Dynasty was finally done? Was finally done. What's the president in 1911? Yeah. Okay. So like we were saying that one of the reason why Qing Dynasty was finally done is because like starting from a moment is it used a policy, adopted a policy 我在问美国的总统，不是中国的老板。OK，溥仪也不能算是中国的老板了，他是一个傀儡老板了。Yeah. So and so like because like Qing Dynasty started to adopt this policy, which is lock up its gate, right? Stop connecting with this world. So that's why like they can no longer learn from what's going on out there in the other world and what's the technology, right? So that's why like UK started to have this industrial revolution, right? So many technologies are going out, are being invented by so many talented people. They're having this great industrial revolution. They start to have all those like very very modern stuff, like you start to have like trains, like everything, right? However, here in China back then, because they have locked up the gate to the outside world, they knew nothing about that, and they were only focusing on their daily life. So that's why when the foreigners came to China and see like, oh, okay, this is a great piece of land, you have so many people in here and you have no technology, and we have such strong technology, we're just gonna invade your country with the amazing technology we had, right? So one of the great things that Japan back then did is that they sent someone to go to the West to learn about those technologies, right? And that's why they have those talented people coming back to their country and start to adopt 明治维新，对吧？日本当年就是通过明治维新把整个国家的实力去改革。那为什么会有明治维新呢？也是因为他们当时把一些人才送去了国外，去吸取了非常好的这个西洋的这些技术和思想，然后再回到自己的国家去进行宣传建设。但是相同的这个时代，中国却没有去做这件事情。我们闭关锁国觉得如果去学外面的东西，就会使这个权力不稳固，去做了很多这样的事情。Yeah, before 1861, Italy wasn't even unified, and in 1912, Italy still had a king. Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually never ever studied the history of Italy. Wait, but Louis the Cat, I'm very curious to know if you know anything about Japanese history. Do you know anything about Japanese history? Yeah, I want to test if there's anything you do not know. Okay, yeah, so let's see. Okay, a conspiracy theory. Tianlong communicated with emperors from UK and France that time. Yeah, and then later on discovered that maybe they should not communicate. Is that what you're saying? The French emperor was sent to the uh what is Gui Lo Ting? What is that? To so 闭关锁国 started. Yeah, so that's why like since Qianlong, like when he adopted this policy of 闭关锁国, so close up the door to the outside world, like the country immediately 断头台. Okay. 明白了。明白了。就是 the French king, the last French king was sent to Guillotine. How do you say it? Cut off head machine. Okay, yeah. So that's why the Chinese. You were saying that there was conspiracy theory that said that back then in Qianlong dynasty, like he actually talked to the outside world, to talk to the West. That can be true because like nowadays in museums you do see like during Qing dynasty, during Qianlong Kangxi, they do have those kind of western like things, for example telescope, right, showing, right? So they were just afraid that what happened in France, what happened to the French king would later on happen to China. So that's why they started to close the door to the outside world. They don't want their people to know too much about what's going on outside. They didn't want like Chinese people to learn the French people and then send their own emperor do it. Oh, OK 啊，那确实是合理的。那我觉得这个真的是有可能，但是确实从这个闭关锁国开始以后，中国就开始非常非常落后了，对吧？就开始不行了。对，这个确实是有道理的，no doubt。我觉得这个真的有可能是这样子啊。It's called the guillotine, guillotine, right? Guillotine. OK, am I right? So, okay, Misty Cloud, you are saying that Chinese history is gone and has no connection with today. It has plenty of connection with today. It's just like it's the connection is very subtle. It's not like so obvious because in before China, like in every previous dynasty, it was always like monarchy system, right? You have an emperor, like everyone just obey to the emperor. Nowadays, no longer the monarchy system. It's not the emperor would pass on his position to his sons. It's never like that teen on the last syllable. Oh, thank you. It's guillotine. So it's guillotine, right? Am I right? Guillotine. Thank you guys for teaching me English. Okay, for teaching me English. Okay, so 1911 is William Taft, U.S. president. Oh, I'm also very curious from my U.S. friend who is considered to be the best president in history and who just like general concept, the common concept. Okay, like generally speaking, what's the general American people's like perception of who is the best president and who is the worst president in the United States? I really want to know this answer. Like American friends, can you guys just tell me like overall speaking the general perception, like who are considered to be the best presidents in the US and who are considered to be the worst wait, why do I keep on saying university? The worst presidents in the US. I love to see. Okay, you guys just keep on telling me in the answer area, in the comment area, and we'll continue a little bit more about that. Wait, who is considered to be the best and who is considered to be the worst? Okay, just tell me. Okay, tell me who's considered to be the best and who's considered to be the worst. Okay, and so like we're gonna continue. Okay, so we're gonna continue with this topic. Let me see what no talk is sending. Yeah. Okay, so actually Qianlong just want to keep his emperor rules. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I can tell. Yeah. So that's why like so China started this lock up its own country gate since Qianlong dynasty. Qianlong was actually like one of the best king. Like during his ruling of the country, the whole country was having like was so rich and so thrived, so like so good, like after since like he started this like new policy, that's how he actually just pushed the entire country to an opposite direction to make this country eventually be dead. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's see. Okay, lots of people are saying Lincoln is considered to be the best and also Washington considered to be the best. Oh, I'm actually very surprised. Like I thought people would be telling me like Roosevelt would be considered to be the best president and also President Hoover would be considered to be the worst because he's the one that made USA in Great Recession, something like that. But nobody mentioned about then. Yeah. So you guys just mentioned about in history um about also Kennedy, Washington. Yeah, lots of people mentioned about Washington and Lincoln, right? And Kennedy. Wow, wow. Okay. So I seriously thought like it would be Roosevelt, but nobody mentioned anything about Roosevelt. So it was very interesting. Okay, sustainable futures said about Roosevelt and also Obama. Is Obama considered to be the best? He's the first like black president. Is that well? Are you black? Is it because like he's black? That's why you consider him to be the best? Yeah. You said FDR. So FDR is Roosevelt, right? That's the abbreviation of Roosevelt, right? Yeah. That's because they haven't met Trumpeteers. Like, but nobody told me like who's considered to be the worst president on TikTok. But on Reddit, there are plenty of people already telling me the current boss is considered to be the worst. Okay, yeah, who's considered to be the worst president in the history? Okay, let's just be broad. Like, look at the history. Like, who's considered to be the worst? Like, I really want to know. Yeah, I really want to know. Okay, guys, tell me in the comment who's considered to be the worst president in the United States. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's this again. This is also pretty eye opening, right? So I thought like people would say Roosevelt and treat him to be the best. And I heard like Roosevelt and Reagan, the two of them are considered to be like really good presidents. But somehow when I really asked this question to the American people in the live stream, like everyone just gave me some other answers. Like people mentioned about Lincoln, Washington, but not many people mentioned about President Reagan and President Roosevelt. But now, okay, Reagan was not good at all. Okay, interesting to know that. Yeah. Oh, interesting to know that. Okay, guys, tell me who's the worst? Who's the worst? Who's the worst? So the general perception, who's considered to be the worst? Yeah. Roosevelt by liberals, Reagan by conservatives. Okay, so when I say Reagan's considered to be a good president, people would argue that he's not. But when I say Roosevelt should be considered to be a good president, somehow yeah, um, also many people agree that Roosevelt is the best president, right? Yeah, the RHC, like people do agree that Roosevelt is good. Andrew Jackson was pretty horrible. Well, I know nothing about Andrew Jackson. I have studied the Hoover a little bit, right? How what he started on the kind of policy he introduced back then caused America to be in Great Depression, right? So okay, James, well, I haven't. So Andrew Jackson, I still heard of this president, but when you talk about James Buchanan, is that the right pronunciation? Is this a Buchanan or Buchanan? I haven't even heard about this guy. Yeah, or Harding. Oh, Harding. Yeah, Harding also sounds a little bit familiar. Andrew Johnson. So what happened to Andrew Johnson? So what did this dude do? What did Andrew? So I noticed many people mention about Andrew Johnson, right? So what did he do? So what did he do? Like guys, can you please teach me? 来，我们现在来跟外国人来学一下。Okay, it's called Buchanan. Buchanan. It's called Buchanan, right, my friend? A lot of Americans don't know history before 1990, so they have no clue. Okay, yeah. So, do you know Kanye West? Oh, yeah, he's quite famous in here, especially for what he is doing to his wife Bianca, and also Kim Kardashian is pretty famous here as well. So, these people are all pretty famous. So, wait, why do people say Andrew Jackson was a disaster? So, what exactly did he do? What exactly did he do? So, guys, can you please tell me in the comment what exactly did he do? Like, I'm very curious to know. Like, I know when I asked like who's considered to be the worst president, like literally everyone, as long as they gave me an answer, like everyone just say Andrew Jackson if they are not saying about the current boss. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Can you guys just tell me? He was an epic racist and failed to prevent civil war. Oh, that's oh okay, so that's Buchanan. Oh, okay, that's Buchanan. But what about Andrew Jackson? Wait, is it Andrew Jackson or Andrew Johnson? Is it Andrew Jackson or Andrew Johnson? Andrew Jackson, right? Andrew Jackson is well known for putting all the Native Americans into tribal settlements known as the Trail of tears, it was very unhumanitarian. So, well, by saying that, so Andrew Jackson was a pretty early president. Can I say that? So I remember, so I knew not so much about American history. Okay, so it's a time that you guys can teach me something. So for American history, what happened back then was, I remember like some Europeans went to America, this land of America, right, and noticed there are so many like local Indian people on this piece of land, and they say there's also some rumors saying there are lots of gold on this piece of land. They start to like invade this land and start to build their homes, and somehow there's some like walls between those Europeans and the local Indian people. Wait, are they called Indian people? Like the local people, American people, local American people, are they called Indian? Because somehow the translation is called Indianren. So are they also called Indian people? Like the very same like Indian people, but they are like the local Indian people, not the Indian people, right? Guys, teach me that, okay? Teach me that. So the Native Americans people, right? They're not called Indian people, right? They are also called Indian people, right? Okay, yes, thank you, my friends. Yeah, so that's what I remember learning about like the American history, right? So European people just like they were exploring this world, and they later on noticed there is a very beautiful piece of land that is America. And so that's why they started to come to America, and they noticed there are some local American people who are called Indian. Yeah, yeah. Already called Indian is confusing. Yeah. So I'm talking about local Native Americans. Okay. So Native Americans people, oh, I'm just gonna say Ameri okay, they are called Amerindians. Okay. Amerindians. Okay, I'm just gonna use Amerindians, okay? So they notice there are like Amerindians, they're living on this continent, and somehow they really like this piece of land. They also have those kind of rumors that said this piece of land has lots of gold. So that's why like European people start to build homes on this piece of land, taking away the land from those American Indians. A little bit hard to say. Okay, American Indians. I'm just gonna say American Indians, and there was some war between these two, and somehow because European people have so many good advanced weapons, so there's no way for those Native American Indian people to fight back. So like so many American Indian people, I never heard this Amerindians. Okay, Jim. Okay, so usually people just say them as like Native Americans, right? Native American Indians, right? Okay. American Indians. Okay, I'm just gonna use Native American Indians. Okay, that basically cover everything. Okay, so those American Indian people, Native American Indian people, like so many of them just died, right, because of those war. And somehow like European people was able to conquer the entire continent of America. So that's what I learned back then about the history of America, right? So when you're saying like so many people were telling me, were teaching me that Andrew Jackson was bad in a sense that he was he set up policies and sent all those like American local Indian people to tribal what? I need to remember this. I need to remember this. Tribal settlements known as the Trail of Tears. It was like very humanitarian. So like by saying that, easygoing chat, right? So my understanding is that Andrew Jackson was a very early president. So basically, he was the very first president. Am I right about that? So if he's not the very first president, then so how is he able to set up this tribal settlements with like local Native American Indian people? Am I right about that? Wait, so okay, I need to know a little. So guys, follow me, please, who haven't done so. Okay, be my teacher. Okay, be my teacher. So, wait, okay, so the first president is Washington, right, my friend? Washington is the very first president, right? So after Washington, and then who are the presidents all the way to Andrew Jackson, all the way to Andrew Jackson? Yeah, George Washington was the first president, right? So who's the next president all the way to Andrew Jackson? Yeah, so someone said that Andrew Jackson is the seventh. Chris said Andrew Jackson is the seventh president. Yeah, George Washington was the first president. Yeah, yes, I consider the best. Okay, yeah, lots of people said Washington, consider Washington to be the very best. Okay, so Native Americans, Jackson rounded up and slaughtered a lot of Native Americans. Oh, okay, so that's why he's considered to be the worst. Oh, now I know that's why he considered to be the worst. Oh, okay. Interesting to know. Interesting to know. Learning a lot today as well. Okay. So, but why did he want to like? Why did he want to slaughter all the Native Americans? So Jackson rounded up and slaughtered lots of Native Americans because he wanted like the rest of the people to take this land, right, and build their homes. So that's why they need to slaughter all of those Native Americans. Oh, that is too bad. That is too bad. So white people can use the land. They wanted their land. Yeah. I also remember back then learned something that in order to take away the land, they also did something which is deliberately spreading some virus, like just put some sick people to those close to those tribes so that those like Native American Indian people would also get the disease and somehow they would just die themselves. Like I also heard about like that, something like that. Is that also what happened back then? Smallpox. Yes. Oh, okay. Smallpox. So cruel. Yeah, that's so cruel. No talk. I also feel like that's so cruel. Manifest destiny. They killed all the bison too. Fairly blue brutal time. What is bison, my friend? Jim, what is bison? Yeah. Smallpox. Yeah, they did bring diseases. Oh my God. I feel so sad. I feel so sad for those like Native American people. Oh, 天花。哦，天花哦，smallpox 就是天花哦，OK。你好洋气哦，完全像个西方人。开始的时候不是这么洋气的，刚开始做直播的时候，天天早上披头散发，妆也不化，啥也不做，然后就直接开了个直播就开始聊了。后来因为数据比较好嘛，所以就开始慢慢的讲究起来了。然后所以也会做一做头发，虽然做头发的技术不太好，但是看着可以就行哈啊，还稍微洋气一点的。I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Yeah, yeah. The Native Americans have no immunity to the European disease and no access to type to no to what 啊，很光荣。哦，bison 是北美野牛。哦，OK，so bison is animal. Okay, bison is animal. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, learning so much. 6 million bison was destroyed. What? 6 million? 6 million. Oh my God. Bison is buffalo. So basically, literally, just remove the species from the earth, right? 6 million. My goodness. Wow. Oh my God. So it's because of smallpox, like 6 million bison was killed. Oh my God, it was so brutal. It was so brutal. Well, no wonder why he's considered to be the worst president. Now I agree. Okay, now I completely agree. 100% agree. Yeah, compared to what President Hoover did, like the thing Andrew Jackson did was way worse. Right. Yeah. 真的像倪妮哈，就这两天会有很多人说长得像李梦，所以也不知道长得跟好像笑起来像倪妮是吧？不像李梦是吧？No, so the bison was hunted. So the bison was not killed because of smallpox. It was shot, killed with weapon. Oh, okay. Smallpox killed humans, so bison was killed by weapons. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then he is definitely considered to be the worst president ever, for sure, 100% sure. Oh my God, that is so cruel. That is so cruel. Okay, someone even sent me a. So Justin even sent me a link, a link, a link of training course. Okay, I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna put it down in another website. Take a look. Pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So they purposely overhunted bison to stop. Oh my God, this is a conspiracy. So they purposely overhunted bison to starve Native Americans. That is so cruel. That is so cruel. So I thought they hunted bison because they want those kind of bisons to make stuff or just sell those bisons to outside world, like export its meat or export its skin, something like that. Was but you were telling me that they were actually hunting bison because they wanted to starve Native Americans. Oh my god, that is horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh my god, that is horrible, horrible. That's horrible, my friend. Buffalo was not native to North America. Uh, yeah,他没有说我像西方人，他只是说我的打扮很洋气。我应该一点都不像西方人吧？我纯种中国人的脸，好吗？而且我觉得我长得非常的 typical 中国人，就是尤其是笑起来这个眼睛啊，各方面还是非常中式的。我不觉得说我像西方人这个事情会让我觉得开心，这个就是一个很中性的评价。但是如果你说我打扮的很洋气啊，这个通常是一种夸赞嘛，对吧？通常是一种夸赞嘛。你说一个人，哎呀，你打扮很洋气，这不是一种夸赞吗？对不对呀？很时尚，很洋气，这个不是一种夸赞吗？对，Why do you say that？因为有一个哥们儿在评论区里边说，他说，哎，我找一下这个评论哈，怎么找不到了？说什么他没有中国女人的气质，他更像个西方人。然后他说，你说他长得像西方人，他就会开心啊。对他说他像个西方人，他就会开心啊。就七一说了这个话，然后我说其实没有，其实没有啊，不是这样子的。Yeah, I mean why? Yeah. Wait, why do you guys think like I look Western? Like, yeah，我也觉得还有点恶意。对，今天心情比较好，对待恶意的话语就比较善意的回复。OK，善意的回复其实并没有。OK，所以那个yeah. Let me see what's the other comments you guys hear. Yeah, I think there is an old photo of the skull stacked up. Okay, yeah. Slaughter, yeah. Oh my God. Okay, learn a lot about American history today. Okay. Oh yeah, I saw all the Baron. You're sending me this photo, right? Yeah. Okay. I saw this a small notification, but I can't just go there and to check it. Yeah. 不是哦，真心不是哦。那是什么意思呢？七一，你能不能解释一下呢？Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, it's very interesting to know that. Okay. So that's why like no wonder why you all of you guys said like Andrew Jackson was considered to be the worst president. He's definitely worse, right? Okay. So, guys, you see, this is the whole purpose of having the live stream in English, right? To know more about other people's culture, about other people's history, right? Yeah. 像他这种留学的人，或者跟西方有关系的人来说，那是个夸赞。其实并没有啊。其一，为什么会觉得这是一种夸赞呢？如果说觉得像西方人是一种夸赞的话，那这个才是真正意义上的有点崇洋媚外了。我的观点啊，个人观点哈，个人观点，我觉得说，如果说就是说一个中国人长得像西方人是一种夸赞，那这个我觉得是有点崇洋媚外了。我不觉得说啊，我像一个西方人，我像一个美国人，像一个外国人，是一个什么很开心的事情，这个没有什么好开心的。中国人就中国人嘛，中国人有什么了？我觉得现在当一个中国人很值得骄傲啊。尤其是现在做了这个直播以后，你可以跟很多老美面对面的去交流，以后了解了很多外面的世界发生什么，就会发现说，其实真的没有想象中那么好。我觉得我们国家在以前确实做了很多对外面世界，尤其是西方世界的很好的宣传，因为曾经中国是相对比较穷，但是外国是比较发达的嘛。我之前讲过很多次，如果你们去看那个电影《本能》，《本能》那部电影是很有名的嘛，它是在91、92年的时候放映的。你会发现在91、92年时候的美国，基本上就跟我们现在中国差不多，就是大家住的房子都已经是很摩登、很摩登了。所以那个时候就会有很多关于外国的宣传，说啊外国怎么怎么好，然后中国怎么怎么不行，然后当时就会有一股出国潮嘛。我之前有分享过，80年代的时候有很多的中国人就去到国外去生活了，对吧？但是我当时有讲过这个话题，我说，但是其实你会发现，人生本质上是一种选择。当时选择去外国的那一帮人，很多时候都是最精英的一帮人。但是那些真正留在中国的同样精英的人，他们的发展是远远好过于那些出国的人，是因为在外国有一个看不见的天花板，你只要触达了这个天花板，你就很难再去突破，对吧？所以，怎么讲呢？我觉得， 怎么讲呢？我这个不是流量密码企业，你要相信我，你要相信我，这是我发自内心的这个想法。Okay, I was sharing that because some Chinese friends are saying in the comment, saying that my some friends are saying in the comments that complimenting, okay, actually saying like I look like a Westerner, that my whole feeling kind of vibes is like what a Westerner is considered to be a compliment like by me, but I was saying that, well, I don't think that should be treated as a compliment. If you think that is of me, like you think that I look like a Westerner, like this is pretty like a neutral kind of opinion, a comment. Like I don't think that is something that would makes me happy, right? To be honest, overall speaking, that I think like I'm happy to be seen as a Chinese, and I'm quite proud to be a Chinese, right? And I also shared that, the reason behind that, the fact that, some Chinese, like before, like we had lots of, compared to the US, like lots of the things that was said in the US was about how bad China is, right? However, back then in China, what we were educated in here is how great USA is, like how great America is, right? How advanced they are. So that's why, like, the fact that I started a live stream was also pretty eye opening. I realized that, okay, so all the Western countries are not as fancy as we thought. And the reason why back then in China, like, we were educated that the Western worlds are so good is because back then, especially in the 80s, in the 90s, that it is really true. It was true that China was pretty poor and the Western world was really developed, right? And I said multiple times, you look like you, and that's perfect. Thank you, Louis the Cat. I also think so, right? And also I was saying that back then, I said before, if you have watched this movie called The Basic Instinct, that was a really famous movie, right? Basic Instinct. Somehow inside the movie, that movie was released in 1991. And for Chinese people, you will start to see like, what, in 1991? American people are already living the kind of life we're living now. Like everything is so modern and so advanced. Like compared to that, like Chinese people back then was not struggling to have a refrigerator, like to have a bicycle, to have a TV, to have air conditioner in our home, right? So there was definitely a huge, huge gap between the Western world and China. So that's why, like in many of Chinese people's concept, like in our general stereotype, their mindset, like the Western world is like more advanced, like so fancy, like compared to that, China's like very lag behind. So like also we discussed it before that in the 90s and in the 80s there was also a wave, a trend that many Chinese people went abroad to pursue a better living, a better life, especially in the US, right? We discussed about that. However, the conclusion is that for those people who are able to study the US and later on live in US and work in US are usually the very elite people in China, right? There are only basically two ways of going to the US back then in the 80s and 90s. Either you're extremely talented, like really smart, like elite, you're able to get high TOEFL test results, and that's how you're able to go to the US. Or like you're a female, you marry a white guy, that's how you're able to get to the US, right? That's back then what happened in the 80s and 90s, right? So somehow, like back then when that happened, like we're not talking about the ladies, okay? Let's just talk about those kind of elite people who are able to get to the US because they are very smart, right? Just consider what's like their current life, right? And compared to, for example, their peers, they are also equally talented or even less talented people, but like because somehow they were not able to get to the US because of visa denial, some other reasons, they stayed in China, but they were able to grab this great opportunities of the China's growth, right? The fastest growth period. They were many of them were able to build a business of themselves and become super, super rich, right? Or basically just do one thing, which is by investing in property, right? Just by buying a home, and the property real estate price went skyrocket high from the period of 90s all the way till now, right? Like skyrocket high, and they were able to make money. So life is a choice. So that's why like I never ever thought like looking like a Westerner should be considered to be a compliment. Like I feel like so it also ties back to my general thinking. Like in my mind, like I feel like there shouldn't be any discrimination against anyone. Like we should not judge a person based on where he or she is from, the skin color, everything, right? So the basic mindset behind the kind of thinking that okay, complimenting someone looking like a Chinese, like a Westerner, should be treated as a compliment. The kind of logic behind that is you think Westerner is superior to Chinese people, right? You yourself, even though you are a Chinese, you might have those kind of discrimination, which is like you discriminate yourself and you think like Westerners are better than Chinese. Then you would think that, by saying a Chinese person is like a Westerner, then that should be treated as a compliment, right? So I don't think I am, right? I'm very proud. Overall speaking, I think one of the strength I have about myself is I'm a very confident person. I'm a confident person in almost every sense. Like I'm very confident about my look, about my height, about my personality, about my ability to do many things, and also definitely very confident with the fact that I'm a Chinese person, right? If I am not Chinese, if I am not able to speak very good Chinese and English at the same time, if I don't know a lot about Chinese, about China, then there's no way for me to start the live stream, right? And no way for me to attract over 100 people watching this live stream at the very same, almost 200 people watching this live stream at the very same time, right? So that's basically why I'm saying that I don't feel like 不觉得就是说，哦，这个好像是一个称赞，就是其实我真的发自心底的，绝对不是什么懂流量密码去迎合大家。Yeah, because also like this friend also said the reason why I'm saying it because I want to make people happy. Somehow you guys have to know I'm not the type of personality. I'm like even though like I am I consider myself to be good tempered, like I am generally speaking very nice, but my real personality is quite spicy. Quite spicy. Like for some people who has seen the part of me, like you guys know, like especially my friends know that my personality is quite spicy. So like I'm definitely not a people pleaser, definitely not a pleaser, people pleaser. I'm basically, well, overall speaking, I'm very nice, I'm very polite, and I wouldn't just I don't like to attack people somehow, but I'm not a people pleaser. I would not just say something just to please someone on purpose, like if it's against my will. Okay, if it's against my will, so definitely not lying. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so again, like I am proud to be a Chinese, like I consider myself to be a Chinese, and I don't need this like identity. 你说的那个身份认同，其实我真的不太需要。Yesterday was Smile Day. Yeah, everyone, did you smile yesterday? If you were in my live yesterday, did you guys smile yesterday? 昨天是世界微笑日，所以 he ran away, I think 挺好的，他也给我们提供了一个话题，可以聊比较久哈，关于这个身份认同的事情。好像那个之前我的一篇帖子下面还有人跑过来说，他说：“哎呀，最讨厌看到香蕉人了。”还说这个。So somehow they call people who are ABC, American born Chinese or British born Chinese, like ABC, BBC, we call them, right? So call them banana men because they have a yellow skin outside and a white what they call it, the white thing inside. So they're white inside and yellow outside. So that's why they are called banana men. So someone also like commented under one of the posts and said because all of my posts are in English, right? But I would also put Chinese subtitles under it, right? So like there was someone just commented under my post and said that I hate banana man, another banana man. I hate the banana man, something like that. Like call me banana man. So first of all, I said that. So well, actually, like I don't have time to reply to every comment, right? But that comment was really made me a little bit pissed off. So I replied, first of all, I am no banana man. I am yellow outside and yellow inside as well, right? It's just that I speak very good English, right? It's yeah, it's very rude and it's like really discriminative, right? And then the second thing I said is if you don't like, you just leave, right? You don't need to comment under it, right? Banana man is a hilarious slang. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so like, it's hope that guy will not eat bananas forever. Oh, coconut too for Southeast Asian. Oh, so that's like a very discriminative kind of calling for a Southeast Asian people, right? Coconut. But why coconut? Coconut. Wait, banana I can understand, right? It's white, yellow from the outside, but white inside. But what about coconut? Why are Southeast Asian people called coconut? Yeah, don't quite understand that. Spanish people who act white are coconuts. Yeah, okay. So Southeast Asian people and Spanish people are all called like coconuts, but white coconut, brown and white. So brown outside and white inside.椰子，对，他们就好像中国就是刚才讲的嘛，就是如果中国那种就是 ABC、BBC，外面是黄的，里边是白的，他们就叫它香蕉人嘛。然后他们现在有人说，就是好像东南亚的这种，或者说是西班牙的这种，是叫做椰子人 （Coconut Man），椰子人，因为外面是棕色的，然后里面是白色的。Okay, that is so funny. That is so funny. Laugh my ass off. I was gonna do business in China, and the phrase was white monkey. Oh, that is so funny. Easy going cat, white monkey. So they call you white monkey, my friend? Well, to be very honest with you guys, okay, my foreign friends, like there is a saying that we call like foreigners monkey. It's because you guys have so much more hair than us. Overall speaking, like Westerners have like so much more body hair. So we tease each other a lot around that, right? So Chinese people would tease like Westerners by saying that, oh, you guys have so much hair. And you guys would tease us and say, like, you guys have no hair, especially for men, right? Especially for men, like, you guys have no hair, and that you guys, your skin is like your men's skin is smooth as whale, as dolphin, right? Something like that. Yeah. White devil is more true. No, I have never heard about white devil. Like I don't think like we call like people white devil, but we do call them monkey from time to time. That is true, right? That's a way of just joking that how hairy that Westerners are, like full of hairs, right? Like chest hairs and arm hairs, like everywhere, like just lots of hair, right? Yeah. How do you guys feel like when you guys have like so much hair? I wonder. Well, and foreigners called Guilo. Guilo is like for Cantonese, okay? Cantonese, especially in Hong Kong, they call foreigners Guilo, but not for the rest of mainland China. Like not for the rest of mainland China. Yeah, for the rest of mainland China, Chinese people, we don't call foreigners like Guilo. Guilo is Cantonese speaking, okay? When it translates into Mandarin, that is called Guilao, but we don't call them that. Yeah, we don't call the Mandarin speaking people don't call foreigners Guilao. It's only the Cantonese speaking, so that's why like in Hong Kong you would notice like lots of Hong Kong people would call foreigners like 呢个鬼佬怎么样怎么样谁鬼佬还会加个死。好，这段不翻译了哈，别让他们听懂了。我们悄悄自己的秘密小秘密讲一讲。Okay, yeah, like that, right? And also 死鬼佬又笑死我了，真的是。对的。So like, but for like mainland Chinese people, we would call like foreigners like a monkey from time to time. That is also true. But this is more because like foreigners have lots of hair. But I'm also curious to know like, well, okay, so like to be honest, like I cannot be with someone who has too much hair. 鬼佬的意思是鬼嘛？其实说实话，我真的不知道为什么他们叫鬼佬。哎，有没有广东的朋友啊？直播间有没有广东的朋友可以稍微解释一下，为什么叫这个叫他们鬼佬啊？为什么叫鬼佬啊？Yeah, yeah. I was asking like why Cantonese people call foreigners 鬼佬. Like I also wanted to know like why they call it 鬼佬 because I'm Mandarin speaker, so I don't know why it is called 鬼佬. So if 鬼佬 translate directly into English, it would mean something like ghost something. You know, it should be translated directly into English and it means like ghost dude, something like that, right? So I wanted to know like why they call it 鬼佬. Yeah. So okay. I love Taiwan. Okay, I know you love Taiwan. Okay, I'm glad you love Taiwan. Okay, my friend. Yeah, and also博主国外长大没有土生土长中国人哈。我那个上海人，从小上海长大，上海出生，上海长大，然后在上海一直待到大学本科结束，然后再去海外读了研究生。我在英国的伦敦政经读了硕士啊，本科在上海交通大学完成的，所以是一个土生土长的中国人。OK，是个土生土长的中国人，所以不是国外长大的哈。是不是被我的这个英文所折服啦？是不是说觉得我的英文很好啊？所以你才会觉得我是国外长大的呀？OK，所以要关注我一下啊，Guys, follow me please if you haven't done so. OK, follow me please if you haven't done so. OK, yeah. 那英文的话确实是要多练。我觉得我英文能好的一个非常重要的原因，就是因为我在过去的学习和工作环境当中有非常大量的机会是读英文的。哎呦，校友啊，Leo 校友啊。哎呦，太好了，校友，很高兴认识你哈。哪一年就别说了，说完之后暴露我的年龄了。OK，鬼楼就是洋人是啊。哎，Christy，你是广东人是吗？ 广东话鬼佬鬼係翻鬼，廣東翻鬼係羊嘅意思。Am I right about that? I'm just speaking, I'm talking in Cantonese of what is written by 重新出发。讲的还行吧，但我广东话口音比较重啊。My Cantonese has a pretty strong accent. My English is way better than my Cantonese, even though Cantonese is also Chinese. Like my best, like very best, I'm definitely best in Mandarin and Shanghainese. To be honest, nowadays like Mandarin is better than Shanghainese because like somehow like in Shanghai people don't speak a lot of Shanghainese nowadays, so don't practice a lot. So like my Mandarin is best, followed by Shanghainese, and followed by English, and followed by Cantonese. Like Cantonese is worst, yeah. But I'm gonna try again. 重新出发，听听看我讲的对不对哈？啊，是生活在广东的湖北人。对，我记得你之前跟我讲说，现在已经开空调了嘛，对吧？Something like that. Who doesn't like a cute hairy bear? Oh my god, that is so funny. You have lots of hair, my friend. Who doesn't like a cute hairy bear? But to be honest, I can't be with someone who has like so much hair, so much body hair, like lots of body hair. Right? I can. Yeah. Like for Chinese men, like it's very few Chinese men have chest hair. Do you guys know? Almost like all the foreigners have chest hairs, right? But for Chinese men, like very few Chinese men have chest hair. We can shave. You guys are being so funny. Yeah, you guys are being so funny. Beards, no, I don't like beard. I don't like beard. So, ha ha ha, keep me warm. Someone said that you have lots of beard to keep yourself warm. For example, Michigan and Mississippi, both in USA, are different cultures. Oh, okay. Then, Chris, could you please share a bit more? Like, what's the difference between Michigan and Mississippi when it comes to culture? Just like mention one thing and tell me what's the culture in Michigan and what's the culture in Mississippi. It's okay. You just type in multiple comments so that I can read all of them. Okay. Yeah. Wanna know? Yeah. Yeah. I don't need to shave, not too much. Good for you. I fear that most guys shave or wax chest hair now, but depends on culture. So you're saying in the US, like most guys shave and wax chest hair now? 喝点水哈，嗓子不太行了。Yeah, so somehow like the like chest hair. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there are many Chinese dude here in this live chat room. Okay, so please type a smiling face if you have chest hair. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's do it to all the people. Okay, for men here. For women, if your husband have chest hair, type a smiley face. Let's see, like how many people have chest hair. Okay, so type a smiley face if you have chest hair. Today's fashion is not to be hairy. Okay, type a smiley face if you have chest hair. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So very few. Okay. So sick over one typed a face that is like you laugh to cry. That means you have a lot of chest hair, right? Okay. So many people have it. Yeah. Some people have it. So women with chest hair give a thumbs up. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so funny. Okay, so social knickknack was saying that for women who have chest hair, give a thumb up. I wonder if there's any women who would give that. Oh my god, that is so funny. Okay, that is so funny. Wait, Wang Tai Tai, Wang Tai Tai, are you really laughing or like are you just sending a smiley face to say you have chest hair? 王太太，王太太，你是男的吗？我以为你是女的，你叫王太太。王太太，你是男的女的？你为什么也发一个笑脸？你也有 chest hair 吗？Oh my god. Oh, that is so funny. Oh my god. Okay, QPI was saying like women with beards type 1, something like that. 是你是因为好笑对吧？但我现在说发笑脸，如果你有的话，结果你发了一个笑脸，这个有点那个。Oh my god, damn! I never thought chest hair would be a major concern for partner. 哦，也 Carry 雨点呢，今天是胸毛专场，对啊。我们现在在做统计，就是有没有胸毛的人发一个笑脸哈。中国宝宝们，如果中国宝宝们有胸毛的，也可以发一个笑脸。 哦，我有一个英国朋友，chest hair 很多，故意领口录出来。哦哟，好恶心哦，太恶心了，真的是。Christy C was saying that she has a friend, a British friend, who has so much chest hair. So every day, whenever he wears a shirt, he just purposely open up this collar a little bit so that he can show a bit of this chest hair out, so other people could see it. Oh my god, that is a little bit gross. That is a bit, yeah. My girlfriend shaves her beard. Yeah, some of my girls have like little bit of beard in here, so that's why they would shave it. 大学外教澳大利亚人很浓的，对吧？身上这个毛很旺盛的，真的是。Okay, oh my god, that's so funny. I want a bearder woman. So to be honest, there are many women who has like a little bit of beard over here, a little bit of beard over there, but it's not like a lot. And then they would shave. And to be honest, like nowadays, there are some content creators. Oh my god, some female content creators who are being so aggressive and so ambitious when selling their products. Their products is about like hair growth products, right? There are some like things you can apply to your hair so that later on your hair can start to grow. So in order to sell the products, what they would do is they just apply the very same thing to here and start to grow like beard and show people, I can actually just by using this product to make my beard grow. So that's how when you apply to your hair, the hair could grow, something like that. Yeah. They prayed for 100 days. What? Why did we end up talking? Why did we end up talking about uh chest hair? I don't know. Wait, why? I did not know. Oh, okay. It's because someone said that like here in China we call foreigners guilo or monkey. That's why I said that the reason why here in China we call foreign friends monkey is because you guys have lots of hair. And somehow when we talk about hair, we just talk about chest hair. Like her beard has better volume than my dating prospects. Wait, who are you talking about? Who? Let me see your comment. Whose beard is more than your dating prospects? Something like the hair of Tai Yi. Who's Tai Yi? Let me see. Oh, you're talking about long white beard. How do they prayed for 100 days? What are you talking about? It looks like I missed some of the comments in here, but somehow, yeah, that is what's going on. Yeah, so still like yeah, so we do to be honest, like because Chinese people here are very used to not having lots of hair. So you would notice lots of celebrities would get rid of all the hairs, right? Even the armpit hair. But somehow, like for male has zero armpit hair is considered to be a little bit too feminine. So many of the celebrities in here they would still like trim their armpit hair, but just leave a tiny bit of armpit hair there, not a lot. So definitely like no hair other places like around the chest, something like that. So somehow like we are very used to men having not a lot of hair. So like to be honest, like I myself cannot be with a man with lots of hair. Yeah. My husband is considered to be relatively compared to some other Chinese people, right? Average Chinese people is considered to be relatively a little bit hairy. Legs okay. Yeah, legs okay. Because he's like one of the very few Chinese people who have some chest hair, but not a lot, just like some tiny bit of chest hair. So I would play with his chest hair. Oh my god, this is so funny. Yeah. Talking was the well, Tailing was a doctor in the royal family. In the royal family, my body is broad and muscular, so I shave. Not much though. Yeah, not much though. What do you mean? Like my body is broad, so you have strong muscle. Is that what you're saying? Like when you say your body is broad and muscle, so I don't have. I shave not much though. Yeah, I'm too old to care about shaving. Too much work shaving legs and pits. Oh my god, you guys are so funny. Every C drama I watch, you can tell the Mongolian character because they have beard. Okay, oh my god, you guys are so funny. Yeah, that is true. That is so true, right? So when you're like showing drama, you're having like Chinese drama. Whenever there's a Mongolian person coming out, then they have like a very strong beard, and that's Mongolian person. That's like a foreign person, and also every foreigners come in here like has like really big beard, right? But like here for Chinese people, it's usually just like a small cute beard small cute beard, small cute mustache, something like that. Yeah. 玉石茄. What is that, Jennifer? I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. Asian women have larger foreheads? No, I don't think so. It's definitely not Asian women. So I am considered to be someone who has a bigger forehead. Like you guys can see from the side, right? I do have a big forehead. This is like definitely very unique in here. So overall speaking, we don't have very big forehead. I definitely consider seeing more popular big forehead for foreigners than Asian people. So like I have a very big forehead and also very high hairline overall speaking. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting, right? That's pretty interesting to observe. What's the 确实忍不住多看几眼，看了几眼啥呀？啥呀？你在说啥呀，Christy 小 C 带上我一起啊！More and more Chinese men do the hair transplants now。然后你们在说啥呀？跟不上你们发评论的节奏了。听听宝马 Not really. That's just Nytrix. Yeah. Oh my god, this is so funny today. Yeah, this is so funny today. So it started from something very serious, which is talking about like Qing Dynasty, right? And then started to have like the moments we started to in Qianlong Dynasty that we closed up our gate to the outside world, and No Talk was sharing that the reason why back then Qianlong Dynasty, the Emperor Qianlong started this policy of closing the door 闭关锁国 and stopping the Chinese people to interact freely with the outside world is simply because after seeing that uh, the final king, the final emperor of France got killed by their people, he did not want the same thing to happen in his own country. So that's why he said, like, our people no longer able to wait. Well, after saying that, I remember seeing that in our history book. In our history book, yeah. So somehow, like saying that, no longer wanted the Chinese people to interact with the outside world. So that's why back then in Qing Dynasty, Qianlong stopped the country from interacting with the whole world, and that was the moment when Qing Dynasty started to going on downward road from a very strong country to later on a very poor and very corrupted country, right? And later on, that's why so for the Western world, lots of industrial revolution was happening, and their technology is so advanced. And they later on was able to came to China and invade China just the very same way that many Europeans came to America and invaded the land of America and killed so many local American Native Indians people and was able to build their home there, right? And unfortunately for unfortunate for local Indian American Indian people, but fortunate for Chinese people, fortunate for Chinese people. Yeah, so that's why like we didn't have this brutal history, too brutal history. So somehow like what happened back then is Japanese people did that to us, right? 虽然中国没有经历过这个外国人的这个屠杀，就没有印第安人是欧洲人的屠戮嘛，但是中国人其实经历的是日本人的屠戮，所以怎么说呢？So the fact that you guys really hate Andrew Jackson is the very same reason why like many Chinese people don't like Japanese people. Okay. So okay, now I know it. So from time to time, my live stream, especially on TikTok, I would also notice like some people would say that, oh, you know what, like Japan so good, Japan something something, like why do you guys don't like Japanese people, right? So I feel like nowadays a better way of explaining that, especially to American people, is the reason why you don't like President Andrew Jackson is the very same reason why we don't really like Japanese people overall speaking, collectively, okay, not just individually. So individually we still have friends with Japanese people, just overall speaking what happened back then in Nanjing is actually Sick 441 is that Chinese people got slaughtered by the Japanese people, just like Indian, native Indian people, and also bisons. 6 million bisons were slaughtered, but killed by European people. Like the very same story, the very same story. Yeah. No one remembers Andrew Jackson. Yeah, I keep it simple. I hate all presidents equally. Oh my god, that is so funny. So you're saying like very similar thing as like Louis the Cat said. Like Louis the Cat said, I basically hate everyone until I start to like one, start to change my mind. She said something like that before. It was so funny. Yeah. Can I ask why did China stop keeping long hair like Confucius encouraged? Oh, okay. That's a very interesting question. It's a very interesting question. I think it's more because learning from the West, learning from the West. So if you look at the history of China, almost every dynasty, like people have long hair. Every dynasty. Let me think. Let me think. Almost every dynasty, like people have long hair because there's a saying in Chinese that's called 身体发肤受之父母, which means that we get our hair from our parents. So it was a treasure given to us by our parents. So that's why we need to take good care of our hair. So that's why, like for Asian Chinese people in our previous dynasties, that we just don't cut our hair. So also like for Qing dynasty, like their kind of way of hairstyle is for men, they would have to shave their hair. Like everyone is bald, just shave their hair till here. And afterwards they have like extremely long hair and they would make what is called 辫子。辫子英文怎么讲啊？有谁能帮我教我一下辫子怎么讲吗？Yeah. So it's more like in very modern Chinese history when like some Chinese people went abroad to Western world, right? Have seen like Westerners like having very short hair. And some like Qing dynasty people, Chinese people went abroad to the USA, to some other country, braids. Yeah, thank you, my friend. Thank you, Louis the Cat. Yeah. So they cut their braids and start to have short hair. And when they return to China, they would wear a wig of long hair and wear a hat, a long wig, so those kind of trend then started in like modern history of China and start to have like short hair. And later on, like just fashion evolved, like men started to have all kinds of hairstyle. And also women also start to learn from the West, like to keep like shorter hair, not very long hair, like something like that. So nowadays you don't see like people having like long hairs. People have like all sorts of different hair. Sky Ladder. What is Sky Ladder? Yeah, yeah. Who was the worst emperor apart from Pu Yi? To be honest, Pu Yi is not considered to be the worst emperor, my friend. Pu Yi, oh, thank you. This is a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. Thank you. Yeah. So to be honest, Pu Yi is not considered to be the worst emperor. He's definitely considered to be a very how to say considered to be an emperor. 是一个非常可怜的皇帝，我觉得他不是说是一个坏的皇帝，他是一个很可怜的皇帝。So he's a how to say he's emperor that you feel sorry for. You feel bad for him. It's not like he's a bad emperor because he basically has no power to rule the country back then. Yeah, Puyi is a TikTok star. Really? Really? I'm gonna search for it. Okay. 请问怎么发 th 音？你把你的舌头放在你的牙齿之间，然后拼命的吹气，你就能发 th 的音了。就是 someone is asking me how to pronounce th. Okay, that's yeah. So I would also not call him weak emperor. It's just that so the dynasty was up to the point, right? No matter who becomes the emperor, it's just so hard. It's so hard. And also think from Puyi's perspective, he started being an emperor since the age of 6. He knew nothing. So it's very important. So what kind of person you could be really depends on what kind of families you grow up in, right? For example, for the Emperor Puyi, he became an emperor. He was always inside the palace, and everything he learned was basically taught by all those eunuchs, right, inside the palace. There's no way for him to learn about the outside world, so that's why like he cannot be very open-minded person. And also, to be honest, after so many years of the locking of this country since Qianlong dynasty, like up till his point of time, there's just simply no way for him to turn around everything. This country was so corrupted. There were so many deep down rooted problems inside this country in the late Qing dynasty. Like for him himself again, like single-handed, like even you have those the strongest emperor in the history, like even if you have Emperor Wu of Han, like in the late Qing dynasty, there's like no way. It was so hard for him to just turn everything around, like make everything different. It was like so hard. Yeah. It also happened in late Ming Dynasty. Okay, the last emperor Ming Dynasty. If you, I remember studying a little bit of that, and I remember reading some history book about the last emperor of Ming Dynasty. To be honest, he's considered to be a good emperor. It's just that, like the emperor, the dynasty has entered its fate, has entered a period that has reached the end of its destiny. Okay, reached the end of the destiny. In Chinese, we call it 这个朝代的命数已尽，对吧？明朝的命数已尽，所以即便最后一个皇帝有多厉害，他也没有办法去把所有的事情产生回环去转。So history is a like cycle, like it's a cycle, like from time to time that and maybe you have a very very strong ruler of this country that okay also so In Chinese, we say like in order to have something to work, you have to have three elements all working at the same time, which is 天时地利人和, right? You have to have a very good timing, right? You have to have a very good geographic location. You also need to have great people. That's how you're able to make things work. 你需要有天时地利人和，你才能够把一件事情去做完。所以，如果你的这个皇帝是好的，在中国历史上有一些皇帝确实是好的，但是他的这个朝代的命数已经就是天已经不实了，地也是不利的了。你就算人再和，你也改变不了这个命运，对吧？Yeah, like I said, translating that into English, like even if you are a great emperor, but you don't have a good timing of your dynasty, you're not good having a good timing of like geography is something like no matter how good you are, you're just not going to be able to change everything, right? So basically that's what's going on, right? So that's why I don't think Puyi is considered to be a Puyi. Yes, Pui. Yes, that's the Lost Emperor. Lost Emperor. There was a movie. There was a movie called The Lost Emperor. Yeah, there was a movie called Lost Emperor. Yeah. I do not know Mandarin. Only study a little bit. Need to study more of this language. Yeah, sure, please, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically the same. So you look at, I also have shared multiple times. Yan Wang, what is that, Jennifer? Jennifer, I'm not so sure what you're typing. Everything you type in, I just don't really understand. Yeah, so that's why we also shared multiple times that throughout the history, you will notice like no matter what nation it is, like it's always a cycle, right? It's always a cycle, right? It's always a cycle to see like a country becomes an empire that is ruling the entire world. 阎王. Oh, okay. 阎王. 怎么会突然说阎王了呢? Is that a beer? No way. That is not definitely not a beer, my friend. Who would drink beer from the very early morning? This is a Chinese herbal tea, okay? Chinese herbal tea. Yan Wang is BYD's luxury brand. Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't studied that yet. Yeah, so because it's raining these several days, like raining very heavily, so it's like very humid, really, really wet. So that's why I'm drinking this herbal tea. It's pretty tasty with lots of ingredients and like the barley, the red bean, and also 百合。这里面有好多好多东西啊。这个爱喝爱养生的宝宝们可以学一下，如果下雨天特别潮湿，尤其是广东，哎，Christy Little C，广东特别潮湿，可以多喝一些这个。这里边有红豆薏米、百合芡实，栀子，还有什么？有栀子，还有什么？茯苓、山药。It's pretty good herbal tea to remove the humidity. Yeah, so I'm not definitely not drinking beer in the morning. Yeah. What's wrong with beer? Okay, nothing wrong with beer. It's more wrong with me. Okay. Oh, okay. Someone also asking, what's the dynasty was the lady emperor from? Lady emperor that was in Tang dynasty. Tang dynasty. So well, actually, for her period, she changed the name of the dynasty from Tang dynasty to 武则天把这个朝代改名为什么？改名为周什么还是什么？我有点忘了。反正就是他的那个朝代，他不叫唐了嘛，他唐朝唐到一半，唐变成武则天了，所以他把武则天他的这个朝代换了一个名，叫一个什么？叫周朝还是叫什么？我忘了。然后之后的话，再是又重回了唐朝李氏，又变回了唐朝。Yeah. So it was like during the Tang Dynasty, there was a very small, tiny period of time that China was ruled by a lady emperor, and she was the only single lady emperor in Chinese history. Yeah, Chinese history. Yeah, so 是五周，对吧？那我记得是没错的，五周。对对对，那还是记性还是可以的哈，五周。Yeah, so for her very short period of dynasty, she called it 武周周. Like her surname is Wu, right? She's called Wu Zetian. Her surname is called Wu, and her dynasty is then called Zhou, right? And after her, the next emperor after her returned back to the Li family who ruled the Tang dynasty. So later on, returned back to Tang dynasty. Yeah. Ilya, you're so funny. Lady Empress, she had beard? No, she does not. So she did not have beard. Okay, she's just like lady. So her story was pretty interesting as well. Okay, we are talking about Wu Zetian. Okay, Okay, so I really like the fact you guys are talking to each other. Okay, guys, keep on doing that. Okay, keep on doing that. Talk to each other. Okay, yeah. So, Lady Wu Zetian, our Lady Emperor, did not beard. Okay, it's just so you know. Okay, so if you study the history of Wu Zetian, it's pretty interesting. Her life is pretty legendary. Okay, so she married Li Shiming, which is considered to be one of the best emperor ever in Chinese history. So Li Shiming is considered definitely considered to be the best emperor of Tang Dynasty, and Tang Dynasty is considered to be the best dynasty of all the dynasties in China, in my opinion. Okay, like唐朝应该是所有朝代里边最好最繁华的一个朝代吧，这应该没有人会否认这个吧，都不会说是最好的之一，它应该就是最厉害的一个朝代，对吧？然后李世民所管理的这个唐朝这个期间是唐朝最为繁盛的这一段时间。So when that emperor called Li Shiming ruling was definitely considered to be one of the best emperor in Chinese history. So what happened is that when he became really old, he married. So he was able to marry a girl. Well, actually, I wouldn't use the word marry because I said that every emperor can have 3,000 wives, right? 我说过，中国的皇帝后宫佳丽3000，可以有非常多的老婆。So basically, for the emperor who had over 3,000 wives, so he just had one more wife, and that wife was Wu Zetian. So Wu Zetian became Li Shiming's wife when Li Shiming was like really old, and somehow later on, so she's considered to be a very beautiful woman, like the only emperor in Chinese history, right? When she was young, she's like absolutely stunning. So that's why Li Shiming's son fall in love with her, and so when he stat so even though Wu Zetian is supposed to be his dad's wife, but somehow the son really fall in love with Wu Zetian, right? So after the emperor dies, so all his wives will be sent to, yeah, first married to her father-in-law. Yes, exactly. So Wu Zetian first married to her father-in-law, and then later on, her first husband, who was her father-in-law, passed away. Like every of the 3,000 wife was sent to temple to be a nun, right? Shave the head to be a nun. Somehow Wu Zetian did not want to be a nun, right? She didn't think like she should end up her life to be a nun. So the other day, when the second husband went to visit visit the temple, so she just showed up to remind the son that, I'm still beautiful. I am still someone you should love. And so she plays on trick to make this emperor, the new emperor, the son, to fall in love with her, and returned back to the palace, become the wife of the son. So after she became the wife of the son, somehow like she started to show how great she is, and there are lots of story around her, like also said that she killed her own very daughter just because she wanted to get rid of back then the empress, the queen, okay, the queen, so that she could be a queen herself. Like somehow she got loved by the empress so much, so that's why like all the rest of the wives got so jealous of her, wanted to kill her. So in order to fight back, to ask the emperor to really punish all those wives who want to put her to death. What she did back then was she killed her very own daughter and put that sin on those other wives. And later on, just told the husband, you know what? It was not me who killed my daughter. It's the other wives who killed my daughter. And the son and the emperor got so furious and just killed the queen. I remember, or just put the queen to jail. And somehow later on, just step by step, she used all those kind of very brutal kind of methods. Later on, just become the emperor of China, the only lady emperor. Yeah. Is she related to Andrew Jackson? No. She's not like that. Okay. So she's that is, the kind of thing she did is not like she slaughtered people or what. It's more about those kind of political kind of struggles, like lots of political fight. You hear those kind of stories as well, right? In other countries, in history as well, right? And Roman Empire, right? So wait. There was a movie that was so popular previously. What's it called? 角斗士, 决斗士, Gladiator, right? There was a movie called Gladiator. Have you guys heard of it and or watched it? Gladiator. So Gladiator was on early this year, right? Earlier this year. Wait, early is it early this year or last year? Is earlier this year or last year? So Gladiator 2 was on like earlier this year, right? Gladiator 1 was like really good, but that was like 30 years ago, like many years ago, right? So you have watched Gladiator. For those of you who watched Gladiator, then you notice there are lots of like right, lots of tension between different parties, and like one just want to put the other one to death, right? Something like that, right? So no, no, not Tom Cruise, my friend, not Tom Cruise, right? It came out last year. Okay, so that was last year. Okay, that was last year. Yeah. So Gladiator, right? You saw the first one. Yeah, no matter it's the first one or the second one, many of you guys have watched it, right? So somehow Gladiator also depict in the West, you guys have the very same theme, which is the political fight between different parties. Like one party would just put to the other party to death, because if they didn't do that, then they themselves would be killed by the other party, right? Something like that. So basically, that's what Emperor Wu I was, sharing, right? The lady emperor, the only lady emperor. So she was not definitely not doing anything related to slaughter, related to Andrew Jackson. She was doing more of that, basically just to protect herself and also fight for power. Fight for power. Yeah, it hasn't got that bad yet. Yeah, because people wanted entertainment. What do you mean? Russell Crowe? What is Russell Crowe? Who is Russell Crowe? Yeah, yeah. How to pronounce? 哎呀，我忘记这个音标是什么了。这个是什么？我真的不记得这个音标是啥了。你得给我一个词，告诉我怎么读，我可以教你一下。OK？ Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, Russell Crowe is the actor from the first movie. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's quite charming. To be honest, he's not so good looking, but he's quite charming, Russell. He also played in Les Miserables, right? Les Miserables? Yeah, but somehow he started to gain weight. He lost this kind of charm he used to have. Like when he was in Gladiator, like the kind of face, like he's eyebrow is always like this, right? Always like this, and eyebrow is always like this. Just makes feel like, oh my god, just by looking at his face, you feel like, oh, my heart is broken, something like that. Yeah, he's quite charming. Yeah, he still has charm. Good guy. Too much hair? Yes, he does have lots of hair, right? I remember watching Gladiator to see like he does have some chest hair in there. Oh my god, you guys so funny. You guys know the talk show skill, which is call back, right? You guys like call back, like the Emperor. Ooh, does she have beard? Oh my god, you guys amazing. Yeah. Who's the best up and coming Chinese actor or actress? I really need to think. I really need to think. There are like a few really good ones. There are a few really good ones. Yeah. But if you are asking who's the upcoming, um, like who has like great potential to be the king, queen in the acting field in China, to be honest, I can't think of someone like who's Jet Li is not like new. He's like already retired or something. 有没有哪一个这个中国新兴的明星，就是演技易烊千玺？我觉得易烊千玺可以的，易烊千玺演技是真的可以。易烊千玺 there's a Chinese actor who's born in the year 2000 or something, like really really young, but he has like great amazing acting skill. I think he has a bright future, a really really bright future. Yeah, 易烊千玺，还有蒋奇明，对吧？蒋奇明也很好啊，但这个话题应该只有中国宝宝能听懂，外国人应该就不太能懂了。Yeah, Zhang Ziyi was really famous here in China as well. Do anyone know how to acquire a travel visa for China? It should be very easy, Hunter. So first of all, you need to check if you do need a visa or not. Okay. So like I have said multiple times since December last year, China introduced this new visa policy. So say for example, you are an American, if you only want to travel to China for 10 days, so you could just come in here visa free on the condition that you just travel to some other countries after China, because that 10-day visa is a transit visa. For majority of the countries, the transit visa is only for 2 days or 3 days. Okay. So here in China, the transit visa is 10 days. Okay. So if you intend to stay in mainland China for only 10 days, then you could just basically use the transit visa. Okay. What does transit visa mean? You need to transit in China. So when you arrive at the custom of China, you need to prove to the people here that you're only transiting in the country. that you're going to another country after mainland China. So by that, you're able to come in China visa free. Okay. So if you want to travel to China for longer, for example, 30 days or even 90 days, then you have to apply for visa, which is also pretty simple. Just go to the Chinese official website, make an online application, make an appointment for interview, and afterwards, then you're able to come to China. Okay. 舌尖抵在牙齿中间，那就是这个音嘛，那就是这个音嘛。所以你的名字是 Catherine，OK，、你的名字是 Catherine，OK，Catherine，、你一定要发 Catherine，不是 Catherine，或者说是什么？因为我会发现很多人会，还有包括三是 three，OK，three，it's not three，很多中国人会发音发成 one two three，like lots of Chinese people pronounce one two three to be one two three，it should be one two three，right？Yeah，it's like yeah, Catherine. Okay, your name is Catherine. It's not Catherine. Okay, Catherine. Yeah, Catherine. Catherine. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys, it's 9:30. A great day today again. Okay, having we had such a fun talk today. I really enjoyed this today's live stream. A lot of interesting topic. So for those of you who haven't followed me, definitely follow me. Okay, I forgot to ask people to follow me during my live stream today. So if there are still people in here, if you haven't followed me, definitely follow me. Okay, definitely follow me. And for those of you who haven't joined my chat group here on Red Note, I have this chat group. Okay, 宝宝们如果没有关注我的，可以点一下关注。然后，如果没有加入我的这个粉丝群的话，这边有一个粉丝群哦，你可以点一点加入进来哦。我们这里边也会经常的，就是聊聊天，有很多老外朋友，也是一个交朋友的好去处，好吗？我每天直播是在7点半到9点半。Every day I will have my live stream from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time, and every live stream will be recorded and put on YouTube and Bilibili for a replay. So you guys can go there and watch the replay of my live stream there. Okay, can also follow me there across the platform. I have different accounts, and I have accounts in different platforms, and all the username is called Nytrix or Nytrix456 or Nytrix_8. Okay, so good to see all of you guys, and thank you so much for joining live stream today. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.